So, buddies, today is the 12th part of the Dodo cycle, and it is dedicated to the incredible phenomenon of entrepreneurship that holds immense significance in our society. Today, I would like to discuss entrepreneurship, to rationalize, to share my thoughts. What is entrepreneurship? Who are entrepreneurs? How to become an entrepreneur, or how to discover an entrepreneur within yourself, and whether it is necessary at all. I also want to talk about entrepreneurship. Nowadays, in business, there is a trendy and popular topic, but regardless of its trendiness, it is a very important and significant story: internal entrepreneurship within a company. Today, I will talk about it, and I will start with the question of who entrepreneurs are, but I will not start with the answer to this question. In general, I want to talk about it. In 1474, this person came up with an idea that came to his mind. He became a little obsessed with this idea, and for 22 years he tried. In 474, this person came up with an idea. It got into his head. He became a little obsessed with this idea, and for 22 years he tried. Discover sources of funding to finance your innovative business idea and bring it to fruition. I was in search of. Ultimately, he managed to persuade a multitude of influential individuals to support his high-risk entrepreneurial endeavor. In 1492, he found America. This is an entrepreneur of the past, Christopher Columbus. He can be referred to as 100% entrepreneur due to the fact that he had nothing except for an idea. He managed to convince, among others, the Spanish monarch to invest money in his enterprise in which no one believed at the time. It took a total of 22 years for this. In the end, he made a significant geographical discovery. Actually, I'm revisiting the question of who entrepreneurs are. As you already grasped the story about Columbus, I wanted to convey that entrepreneurship is not only tied to making money, to business in general. And, during my reading on entrepreneurs in general, I genuinely admired the definition presented by Howard Stevenson, a professor at Harvard Business School, which I found to be the most comprehensive and enlightening among all the definitions I came across. It appears that entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunities that extend beyond the resources that currently exist in order to create something new. Let's learn this once more. Entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunities that go beyond the resources currently available. Here, the term striving is highly significant, resembling a form of intense passion. That the possibilities go beyond the current capabilities that are currently in place at this moment in time and cannot be fully realized yet. I will make a point to return to this definition again. I think it very clearly and accurately describes the incredibly universal and timeless nature of entrepreneurship, which is applicable across various industries and contexts. It is of utmost importance that these opportunities embody dreams, a certain idea of what is not present at the moment, a specific future, and a deep desire for this future to become a reality and shape our lives. This works in entrepreneurship as a driving force. The driving force is not necessarily to earn money, but to create something, establish, find, try, implement some idea that came to mind in order to bring it to life, make a difference, leave a lasting impact, and fulfill a sense of purpose and passion. I believe it is an internal motivation of an individual, which, well, kind of. Presence in it is even a little irrational. A very important characteristic of an entrepreneur is a belief in the future, which is stronger than the fear of failure. Because when you commence, when there is merely an idea of something, this possibility in the future, the fear of failure must be less potent than the passion and desire to implement your idea and turn it into reality, bringing it to fruition. Without a doubt, entrepreneurship is characterized by a propensity and willingness to take calculated risks. This is the most important characteristic of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, and the willingness to take responsibility. This is closely associated with risk. entrepreneur in any form, he assumes responsibility for his enterprise, for the project. Full responsibility. He is ready to take this responsibility. The most important feature of entrepreneurship is the desire for action. Look, I have already spoken about the action in one of the lectures. Additionally, I have pondered on specific traits, qualities that have aided me as an entrepreneur in accomplishing success and have seen certain outcomes in my business ventures. An entrepreneur does not merely dream or contemplate the future. They take action, prioritizing action above all else. Because only through taking action you start to comprehend and generate something in real world application. And in fact, frequently dreaming of one thing, entrepreneurs come to a totally different one because they begin to take action. Remember that entrepreneurship is about taking action. That is, you need to take action and initiate the process of doing something. And frequently, I appreciate it when a joke is somewhat a characteristic of entrepreneurs, that entrepreneurs are distinguished by some sort of lacking bravery. What is the significance behind this? What courage is precisely a propensity for risk, for actions. It is a desire to achieve something, to implement an idea, and this desire is greater than the risk of failure. And with regards to stupidity, I comprehend such emotional decision making, because if you approach decision making in a rational manner, as rationally as you possibly can, it is virtually impossible to make a decision. Because, for example, when starting a business or venturing into a new market, launching a new product, it is never feasible to precisely calculate all the risks involved, so you can confidently state, that is it, you can commence, because there are no risks involved. Every entrepreneurial story, regardless of its scale, always involves a certain level of risk. To take a risk, you need a certain kind of stupidity. But this, of course, is a joke. It's such an emotional decision that action is needed to make it happen. The decision has been made. An essential aspect of entrepreneurship is to progress. To move towards the future, you must begin taking action. In the field of acting, you need to overcome a significant number of difficulties. Everything is not going as you initially planned or anticipated. And during this path in the future, it is necessary to change, to adapt. And an important component of the entrepreneurship formula is not just to act, but not to give up what you are doing. Because by persevering, confronting challenges, you begin to acquire knowledge, adjust, and eventually discover an effective framework, a functional product, and attain tangible outcomes. To conquer these challenges and progress towards the future, it is vital to effectively promote and sell the potential of what lies ahead. I generally believe that the key task of an entrepreneur is to sell the future, to sell in quotes, to make sure that people believe in this future. Well, first of all, the entrepreneur himself must believe in this future. If you come up with an idea for a product or project and you yourself have doubts, then you will not have any internal strength, energy to overcome these complexities, difficulties in implementation. Because the world is unresponsive, it will not permit you to do this, and you will need to exert efforts, energy, be resistant to stress, and for this you need to believe in this future yourself. And of course, it is essential to ensure that everyone around believes in this future, including your team, investors, and anyone else. Entrepreneurs frequently employ the phrase fake it till you make it in the context of venture business, despite its literal translation as pretend until you have done it. This phrase is commonly used in America, emphasizing the importance of projecting confidence and competence even in the face of uncertainty. That is, the strategy is such that initially you need to persuade, demonstrate that you will accomplish it, obtain backing for this resource, and subsequently actually carry it out. This phrase reflects exactly the attempt of entrepreneurs when there is a huge desire to build the future, and again, you need to convince everyone that you will succeed. You actually need to go first. Formulate a specific vision of the future enabling you to revisit it in the later stages. Naturally, these narratives may conclude, with a vast majority of them ending unfavorably. However, the concept of fake it till you make it undeniably prevails in the realm of entrepreneurship. Who are entrepreneurs' friends? Here I am now talking about an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is some kind of mythical person. In reality, there is an entrepreneur within each and every one of us. When I speak of taking action, overcoming challenges, and recognizing possibilities beyond our current resources, I am not solely referring to individuals like Steve Jobs, but rather to each and every one of us. The qualities of an entrepreneur, to some extent, undeniably reside within every person. However, the level of risk tolerance, the actions taken, and the ability to handle stress undoubtedly vary from one individual to another. It is important to acknowledge that while entrepreneurial traits exist in all of us, their manifestation and intensity differ for each person. And in general, any words and terms are conventions. And by the word entrepreneur, of course, we mean well, it's a huge wide range of completely maybe different personality settings. And the concept of entrepreneurship can manifest at vastly different scales of operation and impact. Entrepreneurs are not only individuals who initiate a business from the beginning, these can be individuals who establish a business that has already identified successful business models and is currently in existence. He can also develop with an entrepreneurial approach. Entrepreneurs aren't necessarily those who create new products. As an illustration, Ray Kroc did not create a product at McDonald's. In fact, he did not even develop a model for the company's operations and success. Although Ray Kroc, the model was created by the McDonald brothers, Dick and Macintosh. Although Ray Kroc is an exceptional entrepreneur who later transformed McDonald's into a massive corporation, it would not have been possible without the contributions of Ray Kroc. Entrepreneurs do not necessarily create innovations, they can also be involved in the development of existing products. It is not always necessary that entrepreneurs risk everything, although the brightest and most famous stories often do possess these defining characteristics. And entrepreneurs do not have to be loners, they can form teams. I would like to mention that entrepreneurs are present in our surroundings due to the fact that Kirill Voryupayev, our financial director, who will be leaving us at the end of the year, will still be a member of the board of directors. He has officially joined the company. Dodo Pizza was still a tiny company located in an office in Syktyvkar. Kirill moved from London to Moscow, then from Moscow to Syktyvkar, left the job at an investment bank, and this is a completely risky decision. This is a tendency to take risks. Kirill perceived a potential opportunity and initiated proactive action to capitalize on it. Ultimately, he was unaware as he had no prior experience as a financial director. This is solely an entrepreneurial tale, naturally, once again, not comparable to a distinct enterprise in terms of magnitude. For instance, Andrei Petelin, our director of operations, serves as a prime example. Andrei also became a part of our team initially in the first year of our company's establishment, recognizing the potential of this opportunity. Then he proceeded to open his very own first pizzeria on a franchise basis in Ukhta. As an alternative, there is the story of Ilya Zomba, who made the decision to move from St. Petersburg, taking along his wife and all of his belongings, and eventually settled in the city of Syktyvkar. Upon reading the blog of the identical international company where he was employed, he witnessed the same risky move. He recognized an opportunity to build a company. He had a strong belief in his vision and capabilities. The entrepreneurial move was initiated by Elena Tikova, a visionary entrepreneur with a strong business acumen. Establishing a pizza restaurant in the United States is an incredibly entrepreneurial narrative. Or Murat Gamadov, an employee of the company, along with Andrei Kozlov, recognized the opportunity and the idea of creating a smart showcase, smart delivery, and developing the Internet of Things. Their persuasive arguments convinced both me and the company to establish a dedicated team to work on these innovative projects. I was thoroughly impressed by their vision and expertise, which led to the decision of forming this team within the company. There was no such thing, there was just an idea in my head, then there were actions. Murat took responsibility, created a team, and this is also entrepreneurship. and I have a strong desire for our company to continue flourishing as an organization where the entrepreneurial spirit is ingrained in each and every individual. And what does that mean anyway? This signifies that we desire individuals employed in our organization to be prepared to transform concepts into actions. We genuinely intend it. That is to say, we possess ideas. Ideas may originate in various areas of the company. Furthermore, we were prepared to seize and execute them. We would be ready to take responsibility, and we are ready to take on this responsibility. Responsibility for products, for projects, truly true responsibility. Act and don't give up. This signifies that even when it is arduous, when you're required to pivot or alter something, when something does not work out, you need to acquire knowledge, draw conclusions, not relinquish. This is the approach of entrepreneurs. Not accepting the status quo. What is it? I want to express this. Look, the status quo refers to the established and prevailing order or state of affairs. Entrepreneurs, I will provide you with an example, my friends. Take a look. There is a study about it. I have read that 98% of 5-year-old children, according to statistics, possess divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is a type of thinking that originates from the belief that there can be a question for every answer and that there can exist multiple correct answers to that question. This implies that it is possible to find creative solutions to long existing schemes that everyone is used to doing in a certain way, but it is possible to do it differently, which means thinking in a new and innovative manner that challenges conventional norms and opens up possibilities for alternative approaches. So, individuals, as they transition to kindergarten and school, typically reach a stage where everything is already determined and there are certain rules that are generally accepted by society. Some people know the school should operate in this manner and the company should operate in this manner. Entrepreneurs typically differ in that they have a thinking style somewhat akin to that of children. Actually, they examine familiar things that can be approached differently, viewing them from a unique perspective. This means that if there is room for improvement, everything has the potential to be reworked, as exemplified by the idea that all individuals have the capacity to generate innovative solutions. And overall, I will tell you about my story, our story, the company's history. That we were told a lot that something is impossible. They said that it is impossible to grow out of Syktyvkar, that in principle, look, to build some national, federal, let alone international company in Syktyvkar in the field in which we are developing, well, this is impossible. Again, I thought it wasn't like that you just need to see it from a different angle, look at it creatively, and you can find a solution. We found this solution. They said it was impossible to create an IT system from scratch without being a programmer, without being a developer. They said it was impossible to attract investments outside of funds, and we attracted investments through crowdfunding, found legal schemes. We were told that it is impossible to open a pizzeria in the USA, that we will not have resources, that it is very difficult, and so on. Now, let's assume someone says it's impossible to develop without aggregators, e.g., in Turkish markets, or let's say in general now from Russia, Russian firms, it'll be impossible to build a global company, but we believe it's possible. So, this is precisely what thinking is. When we do not accept a certain status quo. And at the company level, this means that I desire future colleagues, the succeeding generations of Dodo, to watch this lecture so that each of us strives to think in an innovative and unconventional manner, stepping beyond the boundaries of conventional wisdom and exploring new possibilities that lie outside the confines of the familiar. Do not accept the status quo, that is, there is common sense. Any of our organizational structures, procedures, All of this can be subject to change, modifications, and adjustments if necessary. And this capability to change, to be flexible, is one of the factors that provide support for such a dynamic and innovative entrepreneurial culture, which fosters creativity, encourages risk taking, and embraces adaptability as key drivers of success in an ever evolving business landscape. Observe and analyze how my thoughts contribute to preserving and generally maintaining the entrepreneurial spirit of the company in a systematic manner. Undoubtedly, the most crucial aspect is that we must actively encourage the creation of something novel. We need to proactively stimulate the process of creation and foster an environment that nurtures innovation. In the context of our discussion, I will now proceed to share more detailed insights regarding my thoughts on the concept of internal startups. We need to be flexible. This is what I was just talking about. All processes, boundaries within the company, this is important. We agreed on something, but it's still a convention. That is, if we came up with something, it works. But at some point, we realize that something needs to be changed. We need to rebuild the teams. Every one of us needs to comprehend that all of this has the potential to be altered. This is because if we acknowledge it as the limits that have been established for us, this is precisely the type of mindset that 5-year-old kids lack, who are convinced that they do not possess all of these predetermined patterns. No doubt we must stay a company providing genuine responsibility. And this is the principle of product ownership, wherein all the elders in the company are accountable for some portion of the business, regardless of its size. Each and every one of us is held responsible for our respective roles and contributions. And this responsibility is also a motivation, because you understand that I make a decision. This part is trusted to me, and I am responsible for it. I frequently receive inquiries about entrepreneurship. People often ask me what they should do if they have a business idea and whether the company has the capability to invest in it. Additionally, they inquire about the possibility of another internal startup emerging within the company in the future. Here, I want to share with you my thoughts on how we should develop this. Ah, what projects can be launched within the company? Observe an important query. I am certain that we must not allocate funds to develop products from the ground up internally within the organization. What do I mean by this? We should not invest in something that is not related, does not have any synergy with our business. In fact, we should refrain from investing in the creation of a new business venture. A totally new business is required. Why? Because to effectively establish a new business that operates independently from our ecosystem and core, we must undergo a transformation into an investment company. This transformation is vital for creating a functioning new business that is not connected to our existing operations and can operate autonomously. We must invest in many companies, but this is no longer internal entrepreneurship. It's already a completely distinct activity that differs significantly from before. Why? Look, because in general, the process of starting a new business is often considered to be too risky and fraught with challenges. Yep, we have an example here. I can state that as an entrepreneur, yes, I am a survivor. That is, we are survivors because in reality, the example there represents my mistake as a survivor, merely transitioning from zero to one, from having nothing to creating a completely new business, requires taking on very high risks of it not working out as intended. This is the challenging reality of being an entrepreneur, where the journey from nothing to something is filled with uncertainties and the potential for failure. And the company, not being an investment company, not being an investment company by its profile, cannot afford such risks in investments. Because this path from zero to one is truly a journey, like an expedition to Antarctica, where there are a vast number of dangers, and we will not have enough time. We will not be able to guess with the business model. We will not be able to guess with people. There will not be sufficient motivation, strength, or resources to rely on during this challenging endeavor. And these are very big risks. Actually, where the company should invest is in products and businesses that are around actually the core of our company, barely our business has any synergy. That is, as an illustration, Drink It, Donor, they are a few examples of the companies. Have synergy because it is a catering business, because we have a unified franchising platform. These businesses are already very closely connected. Yes, because many of our franchisees are already common. We have a common IT system, and we use this synergy. In reality, major corporations strategically develop their new products around some of their primary large-scale businesses, which often happen to be monopolies in their respective industries. Yes, they do offer certain advantages to startups in order to avoid this risk, because they understand the importance of supporting new businesses during their early stages. They do not have this funnel, yes, because every project within the company should have a higher probability than, for example, when you are an investment fund and make investments in hundreds of companies simultaneously. Thus, products and businesses are established in order to gain an advantage and minimize the level of risk associated with their operations. And finally, I would like to mention that we possess a tremendous quantity of entrepreneurial spirit within our organization. Every new product, small or large, every new market for us, every new technology is actually entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial projects. There are ideas that need to be implemented, which are not there now. There is responsibility, there are actions. Um, in actuality, this encompasses the entirety and essence of what it means to be an entrepreneur. Here is the lecture I came up with. My thoughts on entrepreneurship and on the development of entrepreneurship within the company